We often assume that what we can see, touch and measure with our senses is the ultimate reality. But what if there was a deeper, more fundamental level of existence beyond the physical world? This exploration delves into the nature of spiritual reality, challenging our conventional understanding of what is real. We'll examine how the spiritual world is perceived, how its reality differs from the material world, and how our perspective shapes our understanding of truth itself. Prepare to consider a reality not based on physical perception, but on the very order of creation and our capacity to perceive it accurately. The spiritual world is a realm of pure, elevated thought, originating from angelic minds. It's also a world of symbolic representations where every object corresponds to an aspect of the perceiver's mental state. Unlike natural thought, which assumes that physical objects exist independently of a spiritual or mental cause, a spiritual perspective understands that all sensory experiences are ultimately rooted in the mind. Those in the spiritual world experience the principles of order and correspondence operating in a dynamic and immediate way. As the inner states of will and intellect in spiritual beings change, so the objects perceived without in their sensory world also transform. These objects, while appearing to exist externally, are actually within their minds, constantly adapting to perfectly reflect their evolving mental states. The terms real and non-real are used here to highlight a philosophical difference between a spiritual and a material view of existence. From a natural, sensory-based perspective, real means what we can see, touch, and directly perceive. Love, for example, or other intangible feelings are considered less real than a physical object. Therefore, the spiritual world, with its objects that only exist within the sphere of mind, is often deemed less real than the so-called tangible objects of the natural world, which are assumed to be independent of a spiritual or mental cause and fixed in space. Many people struggle to see the spiritual or mental world as real, and even fewer recognize that our minds or spirits are more fundamental than the images presented to our senses. This misunderstanding arises from a limited, materially focused understanding of reality, where what is real is understood solely in terms of what presents to the physical senses. From a spiritual perspective, our perception of reality can be defined by the alignment between the true order of creation and our correct understanding of that order. To make this alignment possible, divine revelation provides us with truths that counteract the powerful influence our senses exert over our minds. The closer our understanding aligns with what genuine truths teach, the more our minds are illuminated. Thoughts that accurately reflect this order are considered genuinely real and truthful. Our comprehension deepens and expands as our minds are increasingly receptive of heavenly wisdom. Natural thought, based on the appearances of the physical world, lacks this harmonious alignment. Drawing conclusions from appearances often leads to faulty assumptions, and these assumptions, once reinforced by reason, solidify into entrenched falsehoods. Consequently, natural thought, relying solely on sensory perception, diverges significantly from the true nature of reality as illuminated by a genuine spiritual understanding. In essence, understanding the spiritual world and its definition of reality challenges the primacy we often place on sensory experience. True reality from this perspective is not about what we can touch or see, but about the alignment between our minds and the underlying order of creation. By seeking truth through spiritual revelation, rather than simply relying on the sense-based appearances of the physical world, we can move beyond the limitations of natural thought and grasp a deeper, more authentic sense of reality. This journey of understanding invites us to reconsider what we perceive as real and to embrace the transformative power of spiritual wisdom.